What's going on, everybody? I am JB, and I just thought to take the time real quick while I'm on the road right now, headed to an appointment. And I was just thinking about these locks and this process that I've been going through these past few months. And I was like, man, like there are some things that I've struggled with throughout this process, and I wanted to share with you six of them, six struggles that I've dealt with through this process of going back to those locks. Now, keep in mind, I told you before that I used to wear dreads back when I was younger. They were thinner. You know what I'm saying? They was always retwisted and everything else. So this is the first time that I'm going about getting locks, whereas I'm doing the majority of it. I'm doing it myself, learning the process myself and everything else. So this has been a journey the whole way. I've been excited about this journey. Just really been thankful about the journey, learning what I'm learning and everything else. Like I just love it. So with this, but there have been some struggles, some battles, some trials, and everything else. And so I'll share that with you. So the very first thing that I struggled with when it comes to getting my locks again was the approval of my spouse. Yes, that was it. My wife, she preferred me with the low cut that I would have with the nice edge up and everything else, and the clean shaven and the beard and all that stuff. She preferred that. That's what she liked. And so when I started growing my hair out, it was not a popular subject. It wasn't. Not that it was hostile, but it wasn't a popular subject. She made no bones about letting me know that she preferred me with the low haircut. And the reason why is that she didn't want me to go through the ugly stage, quote unquote, when it comes to dreads. And so she liked me with dreads. She saw pictures of me when I had dreads before. And so she liked that. It's just getting to that stage. And at the time that the pictures of me that she liked with me having locks in the past, whereas when I was like 2 years in. And so I was 2 years in having the locks. They were down about my shoulder. And so, I had bypassed all of the quote unquote ugly stage. And so that's what her concern was. She didn't want to see me go through the ugly stage. So that was the issue there. So that was the first one. So as time went on, as I continued to persevere through it and started to try different things, and she's grown an interest into them now. So they kind of grow on her. So that's that. So that was a struggle in the beginning, not so much as a struggle now that I'm some months in, as far as growing my hair and going through this process. So that's the first one. The second struggle that I dealt with was dealing with how I was going to be when it comes to work. At my job, we have to have a certain look. It has to be clean. They don't want you to be clean. They want you to be neat and stuff like that. And so I was wondering about, how I would go about these locks as far as able to still work, do my job. And I would hear stories about people who are on YouTube who had locks for a long time, but had to cut them because of their job. And so, I looked at the policy at my job, and when it came to long hair for men, and they basically want men to keep their hair up if they have it like going past their shoulders, which I'm nowhere near that stage. But they do want you to be clean shaven and stuff like that. And I think I kind of get away with this look right here because with my hairstyle being where it is now, I can kind of get away with the scruffy look around my beard and stuff. It don't look as bad if I were having a low haircut and then having all this scruff. So that was the second struggle that I dealt with as far as on my job. How would that be perceived? And going forward, I think about promotions and stuff like that. I'm still thinking about promotions. Like I want to move up the ladder at my job. So I'm wondering, will this hold me back? Like will they not promote me because of my hair? Which is bogus. But I wonder if that's what they'll do. That's business. And so that's a struggle in and of itself. And let's see, the third one was my own self-consciousness of myself, like my own insecurities. Growing my hair out at this stage, and being 30, starting it off, thinking about how long did it take for me to grow them, and how old would I be, and do I want to have them at this age and stuff like that. Just my own insecurities as far as will they look good, If I grew my hair out, like literally, I had this thought that if I grew my hair out now, would somebody look at me and say, well, he's getting older, so he want to grow his dreads out to make himself feel younger? And I'm like, guys, I'm still young. Like I'm 30, you know, like I'm not old. I'm still young, you know. And so I don't know why I had that crazy thought, but that's the thought I had. And then I was thinking about like, you know, would it make, you know, at this stage of being, and when I was younger and I had locks, I weighed less, you know. And so here I'm like, you know, I gained some pounds, and I was like, so you know, would this make me look bigger? Would it make my face look fatter? You know, like would I look okay with them? You know what I'm saying? Like, do I just look better with the low haircut and just keep it the way it was? Like, you know, I had to think about all of this stuff that really don't matter, you know. And so it's like, but that's what I was thinking about, my own insecurities about growing my hair out. It did happen to go through the ugly stage, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, getting to the point where I'm waiting on the lock and everything else. So in the process of while I'm going through the towel rub and I'm dealing with the sponge rub and everything else and having all these curls, I was really just insecure about, you know, how it looked, you know, and how I looked with it, you know. And just to see the progress of where I was in January to now, when I, you know, from the time I first started growing my hair out until now, it's like, wow, man, it's come a long way, you know. So along this the same line of my insecurities comes the next struggle, as far as which method did I want to stick with, what did I feel okay with. You know, I feel like I've made some mistakes in the past. I've definitely made a mistake with the towel rub. Not saying towel rubbing is bad. I think towel rubbing can be good if it's done right. I think I just did it wrong. I think I started off okay with it, but I just overthought it, you know. And that's what I deal with all the time. Sometimes I overthink things, and I think that's what I did with the towel rubbing. I overthought it, and so that caused me to thin my hair, which made me want to back away from it because I was overthinking it, you know, doing too much, using too much gel when I really didn't need to, and everything else, you know, just doing the wrong things, and so making mistakes in those areas, trying to figure out which, you know, how do I want to go about this thing. But I knew that I wanted to be able to do these on my own, and I would have liked to be able to say that I didn't go to a loctician at all. Like I would have liked to be able to say that at this stage, but I can't. I've been to a loctician twice, well, 3 times actually. You know what I'm saying? And so in this journey, at least, and the only thing that's helped me through this point, because the work that they did do was basically help me get some sections, but I've been doing it myself since then. And so, yeah, so that's basically where I'm at. And I thought about, well, if I'm doing it like I am now, sometimes I look at my pictures in the past and I was like, man, I should have just stuck to the towel rub. Like I should have stuck to that. I should have stuck to the sponge and just had patience, you know. So that's another struggle, patience. Not having patience. I was very impatient, you know, just wanting locks. And I remember my first set of locks, I was impatient. You know, I remember going back and forth to the salon back then. It's like, hey, is it long enough now? Is it long enough now? Is it long enough now? And the lady kept sending me back home. It's not long enough yet. It's not long enough yet. And then it finally was long enough for her to start twisting it. And I was happy from then, you know. But this time I started my hair off actually shorter than it was when I first started. So that's when it came down to the towel rub. I was impatient. I didn't want to really wait till I grew some inches with my hair before I started it. You know, I didn't want to go through the fro. I didn't want to deal with a fro, you know, any of that. So that's a part of that too. So the struggle was impatience, you know. That was impatience, man. And now the last one, I can say, if I'm honest, my last struggle that I think I'm going to continue to deal with until I don't know when is the uncertainty of what it's going to turn out to be. You know, not being certain of what these locks are going to turn out to be. Currently, right now, I've been considering free-forming. You know, and it got hit kind of hard. I just passed by accident. Like a cement truck hit a 4-door sedan, knocked the back window out. That was some impact. Anyway, it like everybody's okay, so that's good. But yeah. So I was like, you know, just not knowing what it's gonna turn out to be. I've been considering free forming going forward. You know, I did the crochet needle. Come to the point I restarted. I basically combed out all of my locks, and then not, you know, all at one time, but I combed out each lock and then recrocheted it back. And the reason why I did that is because when I first crocheted them, which I know there's different ways people can crochet locks, but the way I did it, I wasn't happy with it. And it's like I was using a lot of product back then when I was getting my hair retwisted and I was retwisting myself. But then when I used the crochet needle, I basically like took what was there and just crocheted it, crocheted the coils, and then made them lock that way, which was okay. I mean, they looked well, they looked okay, but I had the idea. It was like maybe I saw how Chris McDread did his. Like he would twist like the first inch of the lock or whatever, like twist that and leave the rest undone, and then he would crochet that. He would just crochet the hair. And I see how other people did locks as well. They would just crochet the hair and they wouldn't necessarily twist it first and then crochet it. And that way you can retain some of your length. And so I was thinking about that. And I know dreads are gonna, they're gonna shrink anyway. But I was like, well, maybe that'll help some. And so that was the reason why I ended up combing them out. Like combed out a few of them anyway. But then I realized something bigger. As I was combing out my locks, I recognized that there was a lot of buildup in my locks. A lot of it. I mean, every time I combed out a lock, I mean, the comb was just filthy, man. Like when I finished with that comb was through. And it was just full of gunk, man. Just mess. All these gels that I was using, basically letting me know that they're gonna be anti-residue and not leave anything behind, no flakes and all that stuff. And I'm looking at this comb, I'm like, there's plenty of flakes on here. There's plenty of stuff, plenty of buildup here. And it's like I know I went through some products during my time. And so it was like, man, I'm actually kind of glad I did go through that process. Like telling you about it sounds redundant. I missed my turn. That's okay. Like telling you guys about it sounds redundant. Like why would you like crochet your locks and then comb them out just to crochet them back? Like that makes absolutely no sense. But that's what I did. And I'm glad I did do it because all that buildup was in my hair. I got a chance to get all that out and to wash my hair again, and it basically made baby locks again. Brought them back to the baby stage. And so coming to a point where I'm actually can say I started over. I started over the locks, and that's fine. But now I'm just using water and oil, so I'm not using the gels anymore or anything like that. So now thinking about that, it's like I want a freeform now. I can get an idea what it would look like if I just continued on crocheting or twisting from here on out with water and oil. But it's like, man, I kind of want to, I guess I'm lazy. I don't want to sit there and twist my hair for hours. That's how long it takes me. It takes me hours. And then coming home from work and having kids, my wife, and work and church and everything else is like, man, it's not enough time. And then the podcast I do, it's like it's just to be able to set aside that time for hours just to twist my hair, it wasn't getting it for me. And so I was like, man, maybe I need a free form. It don't cost me no time. I can just let it do what it do. But I know I don't want to have a lot of congos. So it's like, well, I gotta do some separation here and there, but just let my hair, just lock on its own. And so I was like, well, I could do that. 2 years, 2 years time, hair will be where I want it to be. It'd be nice, I'm good to go. And so that's what I've been sitting at right now, just where I'm at. But it's uncertainty because I don't know what it's gonna look like. This is a journey. I don't know what it's gonna look like. I don't know what it's gonna turn out to be. When I had locks and it was being kept by the locticians, that you had an idea what it's gonna turn out to be. Because you're basically just retwisting them and they get longer. But doing it this way is uncertain. And so that's a struggle for me. Because I want to know what it's going to be now, but I can't, and so that's the beauty of it as well. This is what makes the journey so beautiful, man. And so those are 6 struggles that I've dealt with and I'm dealing with on this journey of getting these locks and getting them long and and matured and everything else. So just want to share that with you guys, some transparency on my part. So I hope that encourages you as well if you're thinking about wanting to start your own set of locks. Some things you may think about and and consider, and some things you may keep you from wanting to grow them, because locks ain't for everybody, they're not. And so but they do require patience. And I'll tell you one thing I am definitely learning through this journey is patience. And I'm recognizing how much patience I don't have. Through this journey, I'm learning how much patience I really don't have. And so, yeah. So I hope this is helpful for you. Please comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. What are some things you struggle with? Do you relate to some of the things that I struggle with? Do you think some of the things I struggle with are bogus and like unnecessary? You know, let me know what your thoughts are, you know. But be sure to like this video. And if you ain't subscribed to the channel, subscribe, as I will be continuing to do updates on this journey. So headed on to my appointment. I'll talk to you later. Peace.